Hey, this is Travel Jiggler and this is Sumapula Campsite. Sumapula is a quick drive from Johannesburg or Pretoria. It's about an hour and a half from Johannesburg via Pretoria, so it's only about an hour from Pretoria. Getting here is all tarred road right until you get to the site itself, and then there is a paved brick strip road to the campsite. You don't need any special vehicle to get here. You don't need a 4x4, for example. A little bit or a decent amount of clearance is advisable. Driving around in the Sumapula Reserve, there are a couple of 4x4 routes, but the majority of the roads are not 4x4 routes, so you do not need a 4x4 to come here or to explore the area. We're camping at the Hardy-Dar site, which has its own private ablutions. Besides Hardy-Dar, there are a number of other campsites with different levels of privacy, so different levels of shared ablutions. There's no electricity on the site, however there is lighting provided by a solar system. So the ablutions here have a shower, a toilet and a wash basin, as well as hot and cold water. The hot water is supplied by a gas-fired geyser system. And just next to that is a washing station, also with hot and cold water. There's also a general tap for general water use, so you can get your water from there for use on the campsite. Something we really like about this campsite is a little mini boma, and that has a set of concrete benches that are set up, as well as a fire pit and a little workstation that's a concrete workstation on which you can prepare your food and stuff. There is some basic shade for the boma, which is a little wooden structure, and you will also have a bin which thankfully has a mechanism to keep it closed just in case the monkeys come onto the site. There's also a movable steel grid for your braaiing that you can put over the fire pit. We, however, generally bring our own little braai stand with us, but that's a convenient thing to have here as well. And speaking of fires, if you have any problems, then there's a fire beater to help you put those out. There is lighting by the ablutions, and that works off a solar system. Our lighting unfortunately only worked during the day when the sun was up. When the sun went down, we had no lighting. For the rest of the campsite, you must bring your own lighting. The campsites themselves are very nice. They're all lawned and they have a decent amount of shade. Where we are in Hardy-Dar, there are a number of trees around the campsite, so it's quite easy to find a shady spot for your vehicle or to put up your tent. What can you purchase on the site? There is a reception area that has ice and wood. Otherwise, you're pretty much going to bring everything you need to the site. Having said that, the nearest town from here is Cullinan, which is about a 10-minute drive, maybe 15 minutes from here. So it's really quite close by. It's easy to get supplies if you want to go out and get them. So if you need to buy stuff, if you need supplies or fuel or whatever the case is, then you've got to take a short drive to Cullinan. So besides that, there are no significant things to purchase on the site. In respect of the roads on the site, as I mentioned earlier, the entrance road is a paved strip road. A lot of the roads on the site are paved to the campsites and so on. However, there are a number of dirt roads as well. So the paved road is not throughout the site, it's basically to the first couple of cottages and campsites. And then from there, it is unpaved road. You can easily bring a trailer or a caravan here. We haven't checked to see if caravans are allowed, but you can easily bring a trailer or caravan onto this site. So this is a nature reserve, and there are a couple of things that you can do here. You can drive around. There are a number of routes for you to drive and see the wildlife, and you can also hike. So there are no large dangerous predators on the site. There are a number of antelope species and giraffe and so on, so there's quite a bit to see on the site. Most of the routes driving around the nature reserve are dirt roads, which you can access with a normal vehicle. You don't need a 4x4, but a bit of clearance is advised. There are a couple of dedicated 4x4 routes, and if you're going to do those routes, I strongly suggest that you use a 4x4. A couple of reasons why. Firstly, because they're designated 4x4 routes, so use a 4x4. Secondly, it is possible that you'll start damaging those roads if you go there with a two-wheel drive. So they are fairly steep and they're a bit rocky as well in places, so 4x4 is definitely required on those 4x4 routes. If you're into birding, there is quite a bit of bird life here as well to see. So besides the large wildlife, there's some really good bird life to spot as well. The campsites are not fenced, so you will have a bit of wildlife going through the campsite, especially at night or around the campsite, but nothing really to be too concerned about. The camping area, or Sumabula, is relatively close to Cullinan and also to a bit of mining operation, so at night you may hear a bit of extraneous noises from those places. We found the management and staff here to be great, very helpful when we needed assistance, and they clean up the campsite every morning as well, so come remove your ash and trash and so on. So a very well managed spot. Take note that there is no cell phone reception here, which I quite like. If you go to reception and there's nobody there, there is a bell that you can ring and assistance will come to you. So what type of camper is this for? Well, I suppose it's a kind of semi-off-grid type camping because there's no electricity, but other than that, there's almost everything you require. The campsites themselves are nice and flat, so you can camp here with a caravan or a ground tent or a rooftop tent. So if you've got all your basic camping stuff, then you're pretty much set to camp here. So just to recap what's on the site, there is water, there is a fire pit, there is a little station for you to do your preparation, food preparation, etc. on. There are ablutions with a shower, toilet and basin. There is a wash-up station. There is water. There is no cell phone reception. There is no electricity. There is some lighting that is solar powered. There's grass on the site or lawn on the site. There's decent shade and there's a built shade structure around the boma as well. To book, get contact details on the website. I'll leave a link below, and then you can either contact them via telephone or on email. If you're a day visitor to the nature reserve, there's a lapa by the dam as well that you can go chill out at and do your braai or your lunch, whatever you want to do. So it is quite amenable to day visitors as well. And noting that it's relatively close to Cullinan and Pretoria and Johannesburg, it's a relatively quick drive, so it is a nice place to come out and get some wildlife. Hardydar is a nice private campsite. However, it's important to note that it is at the beginning of the route or the main road that leads to all the other campsites and cottages. So you may have a little bit of traffic up and down on this road next to the campsite. So would I recommend Sumabula? Yes, I think the campsites are really nice. I think it's very close by to Joburg and Pretoria, so it's easy to get here and the wildlife's pretty good as well. The only negative I think that I could mention, and it might be significant to some people, is that there's a little bit of noise at night because Cullinan is so close by, and because there's a bit of mining activity close by as well, but nothing that we found intrusive. So overall, yes, I recommend it. I think it's a great place to come and camp.
Right, let's go.
So, hope you found this informative as usual. Hit the like button, also subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give us a couple of comments below. It's always good to hear back from you guys. And until the next episode, go everywhere, see everything, have a great time.